we have to recognize that we're being manipulated. And this goes back a long way. There have always been people who have not been happy with the United States and with the way that we do things. And you can go all the way back to 1963 and look at the congressional record. January the 10th, 1963, Congressman Herlong of Florida read into the record the 45 goals of communism in America and how they plan to fundamentally change our society. It was derived from a book called The Naked Communist by W. Cleon Skousen, who was a CIA agent and had done a lot of study on communism and its effect. And you look at those 45 goals, it was things like gaining control of the public school system and the teacher unions so that you could indoctrinate the kids, gaining control of the news media and Hollywood so that you could manipulate the opinions of people, denigrating the role of the family, denigrating the role of the church, getting into the churches and changing the real gospel to the social gospel, making sexual perversion normal, natural, and healthy. I mean, just right down the line, all the things. And they're the things that are happening in our society right now. And we, the American people, are the pawns who are being manipulated. And it's one of the reasons that Khrushchev was so confident when he talked to Eisenhower and said that your grandchildren's children will live under our system. We won't have to fight a war because we think we won the Cold War. But they had a much better plan on how to actually change us. And we're falling for it. And we, the American people, have got to wake up before it's too late. And we've got to understand that part of the goal to overcome us is to divide us on the basis of race, age, income, gender, political affiliation, religion.
Yeah.
Because a house divided against itself cannot stand. Jesus said it. Abraham Lincoln reiterated it. And it's absolutely true. And you look and you see what's happening to our society. You know, we are neighbors and friends and co-workers and colleagues. We are not enemies. And look at the first letter of each of those words. We are not enemies. W-A-N-E, wane. We've allowed hatred and division to wax for a long time. Now it's time to let it wane and come together once again. It's okay to disagree about things. It doesn't make someone your enemy. Just because they have a different yard sign or a different opinion, it doesn't change the fact that that's your neighbor. And you think about the early days in our country when you had communities, sometimes of 50 or 100 families. They came from different areas of the world. In many cases, they could barely talk to each other because they spoke different languages. But they understood a concept called the common good. That's language that you see in much of the writings of our founders. The common good. What's good for all of us, not what's good for the Polish section or the German section or the African section, but what's good for everybody. And that was one of the things that made the difference. You know, if it was harvest time and Mr. Johnson broke his leg, everybody else harvested his crops. They didn't say, are you a Democrat or a Republican? What's your religion? No. They said, you're my neighbor and you need help. That was one of the real strengths of our nation. And we're allowing that to be destroyed. We're being manipulated. And one of the reasons I believe that that's happening is because we are the major obstacle to one world government and one world domination, but we cannot be overcome militarily. So you have to overcome us by destroying us from within.